correct.
I hope in due time, Mayor Huber, respectfully, that you can learn to pronounce my name, Ruth Luevanos. There's an Evan in the middle. My name is Ruth Luevanos. I am a resident of Simi Valley. I've lived here for 18 years. And I would like to ensure that the integrity, transparency, and accountability of the Simi Valley City Council is maintained. This City Council put Simi on the map and on alert on April 23rd with a closed session decision against immigrants. Again, at the mayor's town hall meeting on June 23rd. Even District Attorney Chuck Hughes said, "It is my conclusion that the events violated the Brown Act." And they have already said in the Ventura County Star that the Brown Act violation raises red flags about a pattern of less than transparent actions in Simi Valley City government. So this process needs to be transparent. It needs to have accountability. It needs to have integrity, because the very integrity of this Simi Valley City Council is at stake. Councilmember Mashburn, respectfully, the last meeting you said that we are in some way, shape, form, or discriminating against folks, and that you just couldn't fathom that that's what has occurred. And yet, in these very city council chambers, my son and every brown person who was here at the city council member on June 25th was told that they should be deported, that they're not here legally, that they should go home. My 14-year-old brown Mexican son was told that he would be the first on a bus deported back to Mexico. And I know you were here at that meeting because I saw you. So I don't know how you can't fathom that that's what's occurring. But there definitely is, that's what's occurring. There's discrimination here. As a Latina, as a voter that votes in every single election, it is very, very important to me and my family of voters, as well as all the Latinos in the city, that we are represented, that there is transparency, that there is accountability with this process. I've already heard comments from citizens who have said that only citizens and landowners should count for the census in determining the districts. And I'm extremely concerned. I'm extremely concerned for the 23% of the Latinos who live in this community and the growing population that is even afraid to leave their homes. So maybe you can't fathom it, but I can, as well as all 23% of the Latinos who live in Simi Valley. We fathom it every day. We face it every day. I respectfully request that Ms. Councilmember Kavanaugh, who is up for re-election in 2020, Mr. Councilmember Mashburn, who is up for re-election in 2020, and Councilmember Mike Judge, who is up for election right now in 2018, recuse themselves to ensure that this process ensures the integrity of Simi Valley City Council, that there is, again, transparency, accountability, and that all of the residents of Simi Valley are represented in this process. You can already tell from the presentation, racial profiling is not allowed, but we've already heard discriminatory remarks from our own council members about not understanding and being a reflection of what our community is, of who our residents are. I even heard comments at the last meeting about how Latinos don't come out and vote. Well, that's not true, because my husband and I are Latinos, and we vote every single election. So I want to make it clear that we will be watching, that we are going to make sure that this is going to be a fair process for all the residents of Simi Valley, and especially for the Latinos that are being protected by the California Voting Rights Act, to ensure that we have representation and a voice at the City Council meeting, which we haven't had. Thank you.
Sorry, Glenn.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
No, not at this point. Of her? Is that what you're saying? You want to ask her a question?
Yeah.
It's up to her.
May I ask
If she wants to ask you a question, you need to come to the mic if you are able to answer the question.
Yeah, if I could get you to, and I'd appreciate. I didn't fully follow everything, but I think you were saying that I made comments that were anti-Latino, and believe me, well, you probably wouldn't believe me, but there's no discriminatory bone in my body. And I just would like you to, if you could, tell me where, when I said these derogatory things, and then I'll certainly look them up and and find out, because I think we have good records of it.
I'm taking a quote that was included in the Ventura County Star article where you said, and I quote, "We are in some way, the insinuations of the letter from Attorney Schenkman charges insinuate that we're in some way, shape, or form discriminating against folks." And I just can't fathom that that's what has occurred. So that is a direct quote from you. That was from a news reporter from the Ventura County Star that was published. And
That makes it true, huh?
well, it's what you said, that you personally cannot fathom that there's any discrimination against folks. And I'm telling you, as a resident of 18 years in Simi Valley, who is afraid to go to certain places in Simi Valley, as a representative of Latinos in this community, they're afraid to walk down the street and go to work, that there is discrimination. And we face it every day, that I fear for my child and I fear for my people. So I'm letting you know what the reality is.
Okay, but I took it, when you spoke first time, ma'am, as saying that I was presenting this bit of discrimination. I don't discriminate. I've lived out here all my life. I've lived with Latinos. I've gone to school with them. They're my best friends. I mean, there's absolutely no discrimination from me. Now, I can't speak for the entire city. And just because it's in the newspaper, and I'll look it up, but I take offense to being called a discriminatory person, especially when it comes to the Latino community. I'm very proud of this community. I'm very proud of all the Latinos in this community, each and every one of them.
I would have liked to have seen that the night of June 25th when my son was being yelled at.
I'm
And when the
sorry?
city council voted against SB 54. I would have liked to have seen that pride on June 25th.
On the June 25th, anybody that's ever listened to me said that my vote that night was for one thing and one thing only, had absolutely nothing to do with immigration. It had to do with criminals on the street. That's it. I guess you'd say, if I don't like criminals on the street, I guess I discriminate against somebody because I don't like criminals. But I tell you what, I don't see colors, I don't see races. And for you to come up here and say that I do, I find very offensive.
I'm just quoting what you said.
Go ahead and quote what you think I said, but you are wrong, and I'm telling you right now, you are wrong. I take offense to what you're saying.
I'm sorry you take offense to your own quote.
I'm sorry you bring it up, because it's so untrue and so out of line for you to do this to me. I just can't believe you do that. Look at my history. Look who I go to school with. Look who I lived with.
I'm giving my input as a member, a resident
I'm done.
of the
Thank
Latino
you.
community.
Thank you. I'm
All
done.
right, we're done. We're done. Okay, next.